Is innovation in the payment space speeding up or slowing down or continuing at the same pace? And how is innovation qualitatively different from the kind of innovations you've seen in the past 2, 3, 4 years?
So, interesting question. I think if I were to answer it with maybe four, five thoughts from my side,
Okay.
the pace of innovation may be the same, but five observations that I have. One is the number of areas in which we earlier were innovating has definitely increased. So earlier there may have been one battleground where you're looking at, which is on the consumer side or maybe on the corporate side. But now everywhere you look when it comes to payments, it's a new battlefield. And I think that kind of keeps all of us on our toes, and none of us can breathe easy when it comes to payments. You have to be at the cutting edge or you're nowhere. Number two is certain innovations which are around payment features for consumers are almost like a no-brainer or mandatory, essential. If you're not present, your customers will just move to another platform.
Yes.
So part of this innovation is more like a given. The third is certain innovations around new payment stacks are also inevitable. So if tomorrow NPCI launches a new platform of sorts, you cannot make it an optional participation. You have to be there. The
Right.
fourth is certain partnerships, like I said, as part of what we do when we do payments as a service or banking as a service, is it's all about the first mover advantage. So when it comes to working with certain strategic fintechs and partnerships, you need to be ready with your APIs, you need to be ready with your ability to integrate and partner with these companies. Or again, they end up working with other banks and partnerships out there. So that becomes yet another, like I said, battlefield. And last but not the least, you have certain innovations which can be built in isolation, which you can do within the bank with APIs and microservices, on top of them. And certain innovations you have to co-create with partners and jointly go to market. So I think we are looking at innovations blossoming in the BFSI space on both these fronts as we speak.
Right. Very interesting.
I would rather pick up three things to add on to what I heard from my colleague Bertram. I believe that there is definitely excitement on consumer space. A lot of innovation on it. But it will be good to see innovation space on payments around B2B, and second space is around rural sector. I mean, just to give you, since we all come from a telco, we get statistics to our, immediate to our mind. Even today, if you look at, I think we have still not cracked the code of Bharat. We might have cracked the code of India. So we need to, if the next phase of UPI growth needs to be done, we need to crack the code with feature phones, for example, right? So there is B2B payment space as well as, the rural space, if I really put it, needs more attention, more innovation. So there's a lot of work to be done. The second one that I want to add is that this space does not belong to BFSI only anymore. This belongs to anybody, right? So it will be possibly wrong to say that BFSI people understand payments. It might be some other big tech who understands it better than us, right? So, so to watch in a manner that you have to defend and actually acquire, both needs to be at that category. Having said that, you also have to be on the right side of the policymakers. So it's a very beautiful book to read, but I don't know the chapters inside what's coming soon. So that's the beauty about it. That's the way I personally feel where we are pleased. And there's a lot to do because every 2 years there's a new winner. Its statistics proves that. So you never know. There is no obligation by consumer to really stick to it.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I mirror the Prasad's thoughts that yes, the innovation is blossoming, and feature phone is something which is really probably make a lot of difference, will bring a lot of change in the market. Having said this, the niche population, which is like earning around 20 to 30,000 rupees, are still using all those small feature phones, and it will be interesting to see how those untapped digital population will come into more of a financial inclusion or digital payments and adopt it. So, as Prasad said, yes, it's a book good to read, but the chapter is coming on. Let's see. Let's wait and watch.
I would just like to say that, we looking at it from a consumer side of things, right? I mean, one of the key drivers that we have seen post-pandemic has been the shift in the consumer payment behavior, right? It is now more than ever that consumers are moving towards contactless. They've become more experimental. That is basically fueling all this payment innovation. They want to embrace new technology, new modes of payment. Um, so, interestingly, we do this prime time for real time report every year since past 2 years. And in this year's data, what we have seen is specifically for India, in 2021, the real-time payments comprises around 31% of the total transactions so far, and versus 16% in 2020. So we see some growth there. If you look at electronic payments outside of real-time payments, it's actually dipped from 23% last year to around 11% this year. And there's a similar decline in paper-based transactions, right? So we've seen a dip of around 4-5% as compared to 2020. So there's this tremendous shift in the consumer payment behavior that's also fueling this payment innovation, and that's actually leading to a lot of innovation happening in this space.
Great, thanks, Soumya.